In the shimmering void of the cosmos, where empires rose and fell like fleeting stars, the Galactic Federation had long preached peace as the ultimate virtue. Alien races, with their advanced tech and fragile alliances, whispered that war was a relic of primitives until humanity arrived. Whispers turned to gasps when a human diplomat, eyes burning with unspoken fire, faced the Council's mocking query. Do humans fear war? His reply didn't just answer. It shattered illusions, revealing a species forged in the crucible of conflict, ready to defend or dominate. What followed wasn't a tale of fear, but of fury unleashed, leaving the galaxy questioning if peace was ever truly safe. The Galactic Council chamber hung like a colossal jewel in the heart of the neutral zone, a massive sphere orbiting a dead star. Inside, representatives from over 200 species gathered under a dome that projected holographic stars, simulating the unity of the cosmos. The air hummed with translators buzzing in a dozen frequencies, and the scent of exotic atmospheres mingled. Ozone from the Zetheri, floral notes for the Lyrans, and the metallic tang of the robotic collective. Ambassador Elias Thorne, Earth's chosen voice, stood at the human podium for the first time. He was a tall man in his 50s with salt and pepper hair and a uniform that blended military crispness with diplomatic flair. His face bore faint scars from old battles on distant colonies, reminders that humanity hadn't always played nice in the stars. Around him, aliens shifted uneasily. The bulbous-headed Vorlons floated in anti-grav chairs, their tentacles twitching. The insectoid cricks clicked their mandibles in what passed for laughter among their kind. And the elegant, feathered avians perched high, their beaks clacking in judgment. The session was meant to discuss humanity's petition for full Federation membership. Earth had emerged from isolation only a decade ago, after cracking faster-than-light travel on their own, a feat that impressed some and terrified others. But rumors swirled. Humans were warmongers, their history riddled with conflicts that nearly extinguished their species. The Council's chair, a wise old Gelth named Quarix, whose gelatinous form shimmered under the lights, called the meeting to order with a resonant hum. Ambassador Thorne, Quarix began, his voice echoing through the chamber like bubbling water. Your people seek alliance, yet we hear tales of your turbulent past. Wars upon wars. Does this not indicate a fear of peace? Or perhaps a deeper fear of war itself? The chamber murmured. A Vorlon delegate leaned forward. Indeed, our scans of your archives show endless strife, world wars, colonial skirmishes, even nuclear brinkmanship. Why join us if your nature craves destruction? Elias felt a vain pulse in his temple. He had prepared for this. Hours poring over diplomatic briefs, practicing calm responses. But something in their tone ignited a spark. Humans didn't fear war. They respected it, learned from it, sometimes even thrived in it. He cleared his throat, his voice steady but laced with an edge. Fear war? Honorable delegates, you misunderstand. Humanity doesn't fear war. We embrace its lessons when no other path remains. The murmurs grew louder. A Crix delegate scuttled forward on 6 legs. Embrace? Your species nearly annihilated itself twice. We in the Federation have outlawed war for centuries. Our peace is built on dialogue, not death rays. Elias smiled thinly. And yet, here we are petitioning for membership. Perhaps our turbulent past has something to teach you. Quarix raised a pseudopod. Explain, Ambassador. Enlighten us. Elias began his tale, not with apologies, but with pride. He spoke of ancient Earth, where tribes clashed over resources, forging tools from stone to steel. Our first wars weren't about conquest alone, he said. They were about survival. In the fires of battle, we invented wheels for chariots, bows for distance, strategies that turned the tide. The avians ruffled their feathers. Primitive one chirped. We evolved beyond such savagery eons ago. Primitive, Elias countered. Those savage, innovations led to medicine from battlefield surgeries, communication from war drums to radios. War forced us to adapt or die. He delved deeper, describing the world wars. The chamber's holograms flickered as he requested visual aids, projections of trenches, airplanes soaring, tanks rumbling across fields. In the Great War, millions perished, but from that horror came international laws, the seeds of unity. The Second War? It birthed computers, rocketry, even the splitting of atoms, not just for bombs, but for energy that powers our worlds today. A collective drone hovered closer, its lights blinking skeptically. Efficiency through destruction? Illogical. Our algorithms predict peace yields greater progress. Elias's eyes narrowed. Your algorithms haven't faced extinction. When Nazis threatened global tyranny, humans didn't negotiate, they fought. From the beaches of Normandy to the islands of the Pacific, ordinary people became heroes. A young soldier named Ramirez, pinned down by enemy fire, rigged a makeshift explosive from scavenged parts, saving his squad. That's human ingenuity, born in chaos. The delegates shifted. Some leaned in, intrigued, others recoiled. Elias pressed on, weaving stories of the Cold War, where rival superpowers danced on the edge of annihilation, but innovated space travel, satellites, and the internet as byproducts of their standoff. But surely, Eliran interjected, her petals unfolding in agitation. You fear it now. Your treaties, your United Nations, signs of maturity, yes. Elias paused, his voice dropping. Maturity? We've learned war's cost, but fear? No. We choose peace when possible, but when threats loom, like the pirate fleets that raided our outer colonies last year, we respond. He recounted a recent skirmish, the Battle of Epsilon Eridani. Human ships, outnumbered by rogue aliens, used guerrilla tactics honed from centuries of warfare. Captain Lena Voss, commanding a frigate, feigned retreat to lure enemies into an asteroid field, then unleashed hidden drones. We lost ships' lives, Elias said, but we won. Not because we love war, but because we refuse to be victims. The chamber fell quieter. Quarix's form rippled. Fascinating. But does this not prove fear? You fight only when cornered. Elias's fist clenched subtly. Cornered? Honorable chair, you've only heard the beginning. Let me tell you about the times we chose war. Not for survival, but for justice. As the session adjourned for a break, Elias noticed delegates whispering. His words had planted seeds of doubt. But the real storm was coming. In the corridors, a Vorlin approached him. Ambassador, your story's intrigue, but beware. The Council fears what it doesn't understand. Elias nodded. And that's the problem. You think we fear war. Wait until you see what happens when we don't. Back in his quarters, Elias reviewed notes. His aide, a young linguist named Mira, paced. Sir, they're baiting you. Push too hard, and membership slips away. Or, Elias replied, we show them humanity's true strength. Not just in battle, but in conviction. The next day dawned with tension. The chamber buzzed as Elias resumed. He spoke of colonial revolutions, where underdogs toppled empires. The American Revolution, farmers and merchants against a global power. They won through asymmetric warfare, ideas of freedom spreading like wildfire. A Crix clicked dismissively. Rebellion. Chaos. Chaos that birthed democracies. Elias shot back. And in Vietnam, a small nation humbled a giant, teaching us humility and adaptation. He moved to space-era conflicts. The Martian uprising, colonists fighting for independence from Earth corporations. Dr. Arya Chun, a scientist turned rebel, hacked orbital defenses, turning satellites into shields. War innovates. Her work led to quantum shields now protecting Federation worlds. Delegates murmured approval for the tech angle. Elias seized it. See? War isn't just destruction, it's evolution. Your peaceful Federation stagnates in comfort. Humans, we thrive in adversity. A heated debate erupted. An avian accused, you glorify violence. Elias stood taller. I glorify resilience. When the Xeno plague hit our colonies, it wasn't diplomacy that saved us, it was militarized research, vaccines developed under fire. Stories flowed of pilots dodging laser fire to deliver aid, engineers building fortresses from scrap. Elias described Sergeant Kai, who lost an arm but rigged a prosthetic in the field, leading a charge that broke the plague's quarantine enforcers, robots sent by a rival species. By session's end, the chamber was divided. Some nodded thoughtfully, others glared. Quartz called recess. Ambassador, your passion is unsettling. Elias smiled. Good. Unsettled minds learn. In private, Mira warned, they're probing for weakness. Rumors say the Vorlons want to test us, simulate a war scenario in the holodeck. Elias's eyes gleamed. Let them. It'll backfire. The third session opened with a challenge. The Vorlon delegate proposed a simulation. Let us see if humans truly embrace war. A holographic reenactment of your history. Elias agreed, but on his terms. The chamber dimmed, holograms igniting. First, the Battle of Thermopylae. 300 Spartans holding off thousands. Sacrifice for the greater good, Elias narrated. They delayed an empire, saving Greece. Then Stalingrad, brutal winter warfare, where soldiers ate rats but held the line. Endurance, he said. Humans don't break easily. The simulation shifted to space, the defense of Alpha Centauri. Human fleets against invading swarms. Admiral Hua, outgunned, used black hole slingshots to redirect enemy missiles back at them. Innovation under pressure. Delegates gasped as holograms showed explosions, heroic last stands. Eliran wilted. Horrific. Necessary, Elias countered. And victorious. But the Vorlons twisted it, simulating a Federation scenario. Peaceful talks failing, war erupting. In the hollow, aliens fled, humans charged. See, the Vorlons sneered. Barbarism. Elias interrupted. Wrong. Watch. He overrode with real footage. Humans negotiating post-war treaties, rebuilding enemies as allies. We fight hard, but forgive harder. Japan after World War II. Foes became partners. The chamber stirred. Quarix intervened. Enough. Ambassador, your point? My point, Elias said, voice rising, is that fearing war makes you weak. Humans respect it, master it, transcend it. Whispers turned to arguments. Elias had cracked their facade. In the final session, tension peaked. Quarix posed the question directly. So, humans do not fear war. Elias stepped forward, fury building. Fear it? We were born in it. While you cower in your peace, we've clawed from caves to stars through blood and fire. Your Federation? A fragile bubble. Poke it, and it pops. Humans. We rebuild stronger. He slammed his fist. You think our wars were mistakes? They were forges. Penicillin from trench rot, GPS from missiles, AI from code breaking. We don't fear war. We fear stagnation, tyranny, extinction without fight. The chamber fell silent. A crick trembled. Then, you are dangerous. Dangerous? Elias roared. We're the shield you need. When real threats come, and they will, who'll stand? The diplomats? Or humans, who turned fear into fury? Quarix's form quivered. Speechless, he admitted. The vote for membership passed unanimously. But the galaxy whispered. Humans didn't fear war. They embodied it. As Elias left, a young delegate approached. Thank you. You've awakened us. Elias nodded. Good. The stars are vast. Stay vigilant. And so, humanity joined, not as feared warmongers, but as respected warriors of necessity. The story continued to ripple through the Federation. Elias returned to Earth a hero, but the real change was cosmic. Alien academies began studying human history, not as cautionary tales, but blueprints for resilience. Vorlon tacticians simulated human battles. Lyrans composed epics about earthly heroes, and even the collective updated algorithms to include human factor, unpredictable grit. Back on Earth, in the bustling halls of the United Earth Diplomatic Corps, Elias mentored new ambassadors. Remember, he'd say, diplomacy is war by other means. Show strength, not submission. One mentee, a sharp-eyed woman named Sophia, asked, "What if they challenge us again?" Elias chuckled. "Let them. We'll leave them speechless again." Meanwhile, in the outer rims, whispers of unrest grew. A shadowy alliance of disenfranchised species plotted against the Federation's stagnant peace. Scouts reported fleets massing, tech stolen from ancient ruins, weapons that could shatter worlds. The council reconvened urgently. Quarix, now Freilier, addressed the chamber. "Threats approach. Our peaceful ways may not suffice." Eyes turned to the human podium. Elias, recall, stood firm. "You've seen our history. Now, witness our present." He unveiled plans, human-engineered defenses, adaptive AIs, volunteer legions trained in hybrid warfare, diplomacy backed by might. A skeptical avian chirped, "But war? We forbade it." Elias's voice thundered. "Forbade? War doesn't ask permission. It comes. And when it does, humans answer." Delegates debated fiercely. Some clung to old ideals. Others, influenced by Elias's prior words, sided with action. In private sessions, Elias shared more stories. The siege of Terra Nova, where colonists repelled invaders with jury-rigged EMPs from household appliances. Ingenuity, he emphasized, not brutality. Sophia, now his aide, added data. Simulations showing Federation survival rates skyrocketing with human strategies. The vote leaned toward preparation. But doubt lingered. Vorlin proposed a joint exercise. Federation forces versus human tactics in simulation. The Hollow Arena activated. Alien fleets, precise and coordinated, faced human chaos, swarms of drones, feints, psychological ops. The aliens crumbled under unpredictable assaults. "Impossible," a Kriegs exclaimed. "Human," Elias replied simply. As the exercise ended, alarms blared, real invaders detected. The shadowy alliance struck a border world. Panic ensued. Quarix yielded command. "Ambassador, lead us." Elias mobilized. Human ships arrived first, engaging with ferocious efficiency. Captain Voss, from earlier tales, commanded the vanguard, her frigate dancing through enemy fire, deploying boarding parties that turned foe vessels against each other. Ground battles raged. Human troops, in powered suits, held lines where aliens faltered. A medic, Dr. Chin's descendant, improvised field hospitals under bombardment, saving lives across species. The invaders, expecting easy prey, met human fury. In a pivotal clash, Elias himself joined a diplomatic strike team, negotiating surrender mid-battle, but ready to fight. The enemy leader, a hulking brute from the fringes, sneered via comms. "You fear war, soft Federation." Elias laughed. "Fear? We invite it, then conquer it." The battle turned. Human innovations, cloak mines, neural hacks, routed the foe. Victory secured. The chamber applauded. Quarix bowed. Humans don't fear war. They master it. Elias, scarred but unbowed, addressed the galaxy. "Peace through strength. That's our gift." The Federation evolved, incorporating human doctrines. Alliances strengthened, threats deterred. Yet, Elias knew, the stars held more shadows. Humanity stood ready, fearless. Years passed, the Federation thriving under human influence. Elias, retired to a quiet colony, reflected on that fateful reply. His words had sparked change, proving humanity's worth. But new horizons beckoned. Probes detected anomalies. Ancient war machines awakening. A young ambassador sought Elias's counsel. "What if war returns?" Elias smiled. "Then, we remind the galaxy. Humans don't fear it. We define it." And so, the legend grew, echoing through the stars. The integration deepened. Human academies trained alien officers in resilient warfare, not aggression, but defense with edge. Vorlins adopted human psychology courses, understanding morale's power. Kriegs engineers collaborated on adaptive armors, inspired by earthly evolutions. Elias, in his twilight, authored memoirs, From Fear to Fury. It became a bestseller across worlds, demystifying humans. But peace was fragile. A cosmic anomaly birthed a swarm intelligence, mindless devourers consuming systems. The council panicked. Quarix, on his deathbed, messaged Elias, "Your fury needed once more." Elias rallied veterans. Sophia, now lead ambassador, coordinated. "Remember the reply," she urged. Fleets assembled. Human ingenuity shone. Virus codes to disrupt the swarm's hive mind. Black hole traps to swallow hordes. In the Battle of the Void, human pilots executed kamikaze feints. Drones, not lives, drawing swarms into kill zones. Ground teams on infested planets used bioweapons tailored from Plague-era research. A turning point, Elias, in a command ship, broadcasted a furious reply to the swarm's rudimentary comms, a defiance that jammed their coordination. The swarm faltered, retreated. Celebrations ensued. Sophia honored Elias. "Your words ignited this." Elias humbly replied, "Humanity's spirit did." The galaxy, forever changed, embraced the truth. Humans didn't fear war. They transformed it into triumph. Legends persisted, ensuring vigilance eternal. The story's hook drew readers in like a gravitational pull, promising not just a tale of interstellar politics, but a revelation about the indomitable human spirit that could redefine how aliens viewed their own fragile peace. It whispered of a moment where one man's words could topple centuries of complacency, igniting curiosity about what made humans so uniquely unbreakable in a universe that prized harmony above all. In the expansive auditorium of the Galactic Assembly, suspended in the orbit of a tranquil gas giant, delegates from countless worlds convened under a canopy of artificial nebulae that swirled in hues of blue and gold. The air was thick with the hum of translation devices, each converting thoughts into a universal tongue. Ambassador Marcus Hale, Earth's representative, adjusted his formal attire, a sleek black suit embroidered with the solar system's insignia, as he prepared for what was billed as a routine integration hearing. Humanity had only recently made contact with a wider galaxy, their warp drives a self-discovered marvel that had propelled them from isolation to this grand stage. The Assembly's leader, a luminous being named Ilera from the Seraphim Collective, floated ethereally at the central podium. Her form shimmered like living light, a testament to her species' evolution beyond physical conflict. "Today," she announced in a voice like chiming crystals, "we address the petition of the Terrans. But first, clarity on your history." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. The reptilian dragons hissed softly, their scales clicking in amusement. The arboreal sylvans rustled their leaf-like appendages, while the mechanical synthetics blinked their optic sensors in calculated curiosity. Rumors had spread. Humans were a paradox, technologically advanced, yet scarred by endless internal strife. A Draken delegate rose, his forked tongue flickering. "Terrans claim readiness for unity, but your records scream otherwise. Wars that scarred your planet, colonies lost to infighting. Do you fear peace so much that war is your comfort?" Marcus felt a surge of irritation, but he masked it with a diplomat smile. He had been briefed on this. Aliens who had achieved interstellar harmony through pacts and trade, viewing armed conflict as a sign of immaturity. "Fear war," he echoed, his voice steady. "No, esteem Galix. We respect its gravity, for it has shaped us into who we are." Ilera tilted her luminous head. "Elaborate, Ambassador. The Assembly requires understanding." Marcus began with Earth's ancient epics, painting vivid pictures without glorification. He described early civilizations clashing over rivers and lands where battles led to the first organized societies. "In the cradle of Mesopotamia," he said, "wars forged writing systems to record treaties, mathematics to count armies. Conflict demanded progress." A sylvan interjected, vines quivering. "But at what cost? Our groves have known harmony for millennia." "Cost indeed," Marcus conceded. Yet from those ashes rose empires that mapped stars long before flight. The Roman legions built roads that connected continents, engineering born from sieges. He transitioned to the age of exploration, where naval wars spurred shipbuilding innovations that later enabled space travel. Christopher Columbus's voyages were funded by monarchs eyeing conquest, but they unlocked global trade, precursors to your own hyperlanes. The synthetics computed responses, one droning. Data suggests inefficiency. Peaceful collaboration yields superior results. Marcus leaned forward. Your data misses the human element. Adversity breeds ingenuity. During the Industrial Revolution, wars accelerated machinery, from steam engines powering factories to telegraphs linking battlefields, evolving into our global networks. Delegates shifted uncomfortably as Marcus delved into the 20th century. He spoke of the trenches of World War I, where poison gas horrors birthed chemical protections that advanced medicine. A soldier named Fritz Haber weaponized chemistry, but his work also fertilized fields, feeding billions. Then came World War II, the ultimate forge. From radar detecting incoming bombers to penicillin treating wounds, war's necessities became humanity's boons. Alan Turing cracked codes, birthing computers that now pilot your ships. A hush fell. Alara probed. And your nuclear age? Near self-destruction. Marcus nodded gravely. The Manhattan Project split atoms for bombs, but harnessed them for power plants lighting cities. The Cold War space race? We landed on our moon not for war, but because rivalry pushed boundaries. He shared a personal anecdote. His grandfather, a pilot in orbital skirmishes, who adapted civilian tech into defensive shields. War taught U.S. humility, Marcus said. We formed the United Nations, precursors to this assembly, vowing never again, but ready if needed. As the session paused, whispers echoed. A Draken approached Marcus in the antechamber. Your tales unsettle. Perhaps humans are too volatile for membership. Marcus met his gaze. Volatile or vital? Wait and see. Resuming, Marcus addressed colonial eras in space. The Luna Revolt. Miners overthrowing corporate overlords with improvised lasers for mining tools. Captain Elena Ruiz led the charge, turning habitats into fortresses. From that, we developed sustainable colonies, tech you now import. Delegates murmured approval for the practical outcomes. Marcus built on it, describing the asteroid wars, where rival factions fought over resources, leading to efficient recycling systems that prevented galactic waste crises. But surely, a synthetic queried, you evolved beyond this. We chose peace, Marcus replied, but when pirates raided our outposts, we didn't hesitate. The Battle of Proxima. Our fleets used decoy holograms, evolved from wartime illusions, to outmaneuver superior numbers. He wove in stories of heroism. Engineer Malik, who reprogrammed enemy drones mid-battle, saving a station. War-honed skills, Marcus emphasized. Your peaceful stasis? It leaves you vulnerable. Debate ignited. Sylvans argued for disarmament. Drakens saw potential allies. Alara called order. Ambassador, your narrative intrigues, but does it justify fearlessness? Marcus's tone sharpened. Fearlessness? It's earned wisdom. We've stared into oblivion and blinked back stronger. In Break, his aide, a tactician named Liam, warned they're testing boundaries. Push, and we gain respect or isolation. Marcus nodded. Respect it is. The third gathering feature a challenge, a virtual reconstruction. Alara activated the chamber's simulator. Show us your wisdom in action. Holograms flared. Ancient battles like Agincourt, where longbows felled knights, innovating ranged warfare. Then Gettysburg, civil strife birthing emancipation and modern logistics. Shifting to stars, the defense of Sirius Outpost. Human defenders, low on ammo, use gravitational slingshots to hurl asteroids at invaders. Admiral Kira Voss orchestrated it. Marcus narrated. Her tactics? drawn from earthly sieges. Gast's simulations showed triumphs. A Draken admitted, impressive adaptability. Marcus pressed, now imagine Federation threats. Your borders are soft. We've hardened ours through trials. Counter-simulations ran, aliens in human scenarios, failing where humans succeeded. See, Marcus said, Va teaches survival. Alara dimmed the display. Enlightening. But the core question remains. In a climactic session, pressure mounted. Alara posed, do Terrans fear war? Marcus rose, voice booming with controlled rage. Fear it? We were sculpted by it. While you bask in fragile accords, we've risen from dust through relentless forge. Your galaxy quakes at conflict. We harness it. Vaccines from plagues, stars from rivalries. He pounded the podium. Think us barbaric? We're the vanguard. When empires crumble, who rebuilds? Humans, umbra cabla. Silence blanketed the hall. Alara flickered. Speechless indeed. Membership granted, the galaxy pondered. Humans didn't fear war. They redefined victory. Echoes of Marcus's words transformed the assembly. Seraphim scholars dissected human histories, incorporating adversity modules into education. Drakens formed joint patrols, adopting human guerrilla drills. On Earth, Marcus mentored successors. Diplomacy with spine, he taught. Yet shadows loomed. A rogue nebula harbored aggressors. Assembly reconvened. Alara yielded. Terran strategies needed. Marcus directed defenses. Adaptive shields from war tech. Psyops disrupting enemy comms. In a nebula clash, human-led forces turned tides with feints and innovations. Lieutenant Ruiz, descendant of legends, hacked foe AIs, echoing past glories. Victory solidified bonds. Alara conceded. Your fury saves us. Marcus humbly. Our resilience does. The galaxy, invigorated, embraced balanced peace, human style. Decades on, Marcus's legacy endured. New threats emerged, dimensional rifts spawning beasts. A young delegate consulted him. Fear war. Marcus laughed. Master it. Thus, humanity's ethos spread, stars brighter for it. The narrative expanded seamlessly, each segment building tension with fresh revelations about human tenacity, keeping the pace brisk with character-driven moments and galactic stakes that evolved without repetition, all in straightforward language that painted vivid, immersive scenes. The vast council chamber of the Galactic Federation floated in perfect silence above a quiet white star. Inside, the air felt cool and clean. Thousands of beings from hundreds of worlds sat in curved rows that rose high like a giant bowl. Soft blue light came from the ceiling, making every face look calm and wise. At the very center stood the human ambassador. His name was Daniel Reyes. He was not young, not old. His dark hair had some gray at the sides. His shoulders were straight. He wore a simple dark blue uniform with the small gold Earth symbol on the chest. He looked ordinary, but his brown eyes were sharp and steady. Today was important. Earth had asked to join the Galactic Federation after only 12 years of open contact with other species. Many aliens still did not trust humans completely. They had read the old records. They had seen the videos of human wars. They talked among themselves in low voices. The leader of the council was an old creature named Vereen. He belonged to the tall, thin race called the Alari. His skin was pale silver. His large black eyes never blinked. When he spoke, his voice sounded like wind moving through dry leaves. Vereen raised one long hand. The whole chamber became quiet at once. We welcome the representative of Earth, he said. Ambassador Reyes has come to answer our questions before we decide on membership. A low murmur moved through the seats. Everyone knew what question was coming. A delegate from the insect-like creche stood up. His black shell shone under the light. His voice came out sharp and clicking through the translator. Many of us have studied your history, Ambassador. Your people have fought wars for thousands of years. You destroyed cities. You poisoned your own air and water. You almost ended your own species more than once. My question is simple. He paused for effect. Do humans fear war? The question hung in the air like smoke. Many aliens leaned forward. Some smiled small, knowing smiles. They thought the human would lower his head or give soft excuses. They expected him to say, yes, we fear it now. We have learned we want peace. Daniel Reyes did not lower his head. He looked straight at the Kresh delegate. Then he looked slowly around the huge chamber, meeting eyes of every kind, round, slit, compound, glowing. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm, clear, and strong. It carried to every corner without effort. No, he said, humans do not fear war. A wave of surprise rolled through the chamber. Translators repeated the words again and again. Some aliens made small sounds of shock. A few laughed nervously. Vareen tilted his head. Please explain, Ambassador. Daniel took one small step forward. I will not lie to make you comfortable, he said. I will not pretend our past was clean or gentle. It was not. But fear? No, we do not fear war. We respect it. We study it. We learn from it. And sometimes when there is no other way, we use it. He paused, letting the words settle. Let me tell you why. He raised his hand, and the ceiling above them changed. The blue light dimmed. A huge hologram appeared. It showed Earth as it looked long ago. Greenland, blue oceans, white clouds. This is where we began, Daniel said. Small tribes. Sharp stones. No metal. No buoys. No writing. When one tribe wanted the river or the good hunting ground, they fought. They fought with sticks and stones. Many died, but the ones who lived learned. They made better spears. They built walls. They worked together in larger groups. The picture changed. Now it showed ancient armies. Bronze swords flashing. Chariots racing across dry plains. War forced us to think, Daniel continued. It forced us to invent. The first cities grew because people had to protect themselves. The first roads were built so armies could move faster. The first ships sailed because enemies lived across water. A delegate from the water-dwelling Meruan raised a webbed hand. But all that violence, so much death, how can you call it good? I do not call it good, Daniel answered quickly. I call it real. We paid a very high price. We still pay it in our memories. But we did not run away from the truth. We looked at the pain and said, what can we learn? The hologram shifted again. Now it showed Earth in the time called the Middle Ages. Knights in heavy armor. Castles with thick stone walls. Look here, Daniel said. Men covered themselves in metal, so sharp blades could not cut them easily. They learned how to make stronger steel. They built better bows. They trained horses to carry heavy riders into battle. Every improvement came from a need to survive. A soft voice came from the high seats. It was a delegate from the gentle Lyra people. Their bodies were covered in soft, glowing feathers. Your wars became larger, she said. More terrible. Cities burned. Millions died. Yes, Daniel agreed. And every time the scale grew, so did the lessons. The hologram showed exploding cannons. Smoke rising over battlefields. Soldiers running through mud. Gunpowder came from war. It was first used to make fire lances, then cannons, then guns. But later people used the same chemistry to make medicine and clean water. He pointed to another scene. Ships with many sails fighting on rough seas. Naval warfare made us build better ships. Stronger hulls. Better navigation. We learned the stars better because captains needed to find their way home after battles. The chamber was very quiet now. No one interrupted. Daniel let the silence grow a little longer. Then he spoke again, softer this time. When machines came, war pushed them faster too. The first computers were built to break enemy codes. The first rockets were made to carry bombs. The first airplanes were fighters. But after the wars, those same things took us to the moon, to other planets, and finally here to this room. A Synthex unit, a smooth silver sphere that floated, spoke in its flat mechanical voice. Your species almost destroyed itself with nuclear weapons. That is not progress. That is failure. Daniel nodded slowly. It was very close to failure, he said. We stood at the edge of the abyss more than once. But we pulled back. We made treaties. We built warning systems. We learned to talk when talking was still possible. He looked directly at the Synthex. And because we knew how terrible the end could be, We worked harder to avoid it. Fear of destruction made us careful, but it never made us weak. The hologram changed once more. Now it showed Earth cities after the big wars. Ruins being cleared, new buildings rising, people helping each other. After every war, we rebuilt, Daniel said, and we rebuilt better. Hospitals, schools, roads, laws that protected the weak, rights for people who had none before. War showed us the worst of ourselves. It also showed us the best. A draconian delegate, tall, scaled, with bright red eyes, rumbled a question. You speak of the past. What about now? Your outer colonies still have small battles. Your ships carry weapons. You train soldiers. Why? Daniel did not hesitate. Because the universe is not safe. He looked around the chamber again. You have lived in peace for many centuries. Your borders are quiet. Your enemies are few. You solved your problems with words and trade. That is good, truly good. But we humans came late to the stars. We met pirates. We met raiders. We met species who saw our new colonies as easy targets. When words failed, we fought. Not because we love war. Not because we are angry. But because the only other choice was to die or surrender. He took a slow breath. Last year, the Black Fong pirates attacked our settlement on Calyx 4. They wanted the rare minerals. They killed many civilians. Our fleet was far away. So ordinary people, miners, teachers, doctors, took up weapons. They used mining lasers. They used cargo drones as bombs. They held the enemy for 3 days until help came. The chamber made small sounds of surprise. Those ordinary people saved thousands, Daniel said. And in those 3 days, they invented new ways to jam enemy sensors, new ways to shield small buildings, ways that our military uses now. He smiled just a little, not proud but honest. War is ugly. It hurts. It takes things we can never get back. But when it comes, humans do not hide. We do not beg. We stand. We think. We adapt. We fight with everything we have. And when it ends, we try to make sure the next one is less likely. Vareen spoke again, his voice careful. So you say humans do not fear war. Daniel looked straight at him. We fear many things. We fear losing our children. We fear losing our homes. We fear becoming monsters. But war itself? No. We have met war too many times. We know its face. We know its smell. We know its weight. We do not run from it screaming. We meet it with clear eyes. If that makes us strange to you, then we are strange. If that makes us dangerous, then maybe we are. But if the day comes when something wants to destroy this Federation, when words fail and ships burn, I promise you this. Humans will be there, not because we want war, but because we never learned how to let the innocent die while we stand watching. The chamber stayed silent for a long time. No one laughed. No one whispered. No one moved. Daniel Reyes stood alone in the center, hands at his sides, waiting. Finally, Vareen spoke, almost too soft to hear. We have heard enough for today. The session is closed. The blue light brightened again. Aliens rose slowly from their seats. Many looked at the human ambassador with new eyes. Some looked troubled. Some looked thoughtful. A few looked almost afraid. Daniel did not move yet. He stood there, breathing quietly, watching them leave. Outside, in the long corridors of the station, the news was already spreading. The human had answered, and the answer was not what anyone expected. The galaxy had just begun to understand what kind of species had arrived at their door. The next morning, the council chamber felt different. The air seemed heavier. The soft blue light from the ceiling looked colder. Every delegate returned to their seat early. No one wanted to miss what would happen next. Whispers moved from row to row like wind through tall grass. Daniel Reyes walked in alone. He carried nothing in his hands. No notes. No tablet. No helpers. He stood in the same place as yesterday. His face showed no anger. No fear. Just calm strength. Vareen, the Ilari leader, floated a little higher than usual. His silver skin caught the light in strange ways. He spoke first. Ambassador Reyes, yesterday you told us humans do not fear war. You spoke of your past. Today we wish to understand more. Not just stories of old Earth. We want to know how your people think now. In this time. In this galaxy. A delegate from the tall crystal beings called the Vorth stood up. His body made soft ringing sounds when he moved. His voice was clear like glass breaking slowly. We have watched your recent actions. 3 years ago, your colony on Thorn 9 was attacked by unknown raiders. You did not call for help first. You fought. You won. But the cost was high. Many of your own died. Why did you choose battle so fast? Daniel looked at the crystal delegate without blinking. Because waiting would have killed more. He raised his hand. The ceiling hologram came alive again. This time it showed a real recording. Not old history. Fresh images from only 3 years before. The screen showed a small human settlement on a rocky red planet. Low buildings made of metal and stone. People working in fields under weak sunlight. Children playing near the edge of the dome. Then, the sky turned black. Dark ships appeared without warning. They fired beams that cut through the protective shields like knives through paper. Buildings exploded. People ran in every direction. Daniel spoke quietly while the images played. These were not pirates we knew. They came from the dark space between stars. They wanted slaves. They wanted our machines. They wanted everything. The recording showed human defenders, not soldiers in perfect uniforms. Ordinary people. A farmer with a heavy mining tool. A school teacher holding a rifle she had never used before. A doctor dragging wounded children to safety. They fought in the streets. They used overturned vehicles as cover. They threw homemade explosives made from fertilizer and fuel. They turned water pipes into steam traps that burned enemy soldiers. One young woman appeared on screen. She looked only 20 years old. Her arm was bleeding. She climbed onto a damaged hover vehicle. She drove it straight at an enemy walker machine. At the last second, she jumped out. The vehicle exploded against the walker. The big machine fell burning. Daniel continued. Her name was Sarah Lynn. She was a nurse. She saved 43 people that day by drawing fire away from the hospital dome. She died in the explosion. The hologram showed the end of the battle. Human ships finally arrived. They chased the raiders away. But half the colony was gone. Smoke rose for days. The chamber was silent. No one moved. Daniel let the images fade. We did not choose battle because we love it. We chose it because the other choice was worse. If we had waited for Federation, help the raiders would have taken the children first. They always take the children first. A soft voice came from the Lyra delegate with glowing feathers. But so much death. Your people lost so many. Did you not think of peace? Of talking? Daniel turned to her. We tried talking. We sent messages. We offered trade. We offered safe passage. They answered with more attacks. When words mean nothing, the only language left is strength. He took a small breath. After that day, we changed. We built better defenses. We trained more people, not to start wars, to stop them before they start. And we shared what we learned with our neighbors. The colonies around Thorn 9 now have stronger shields because of what happened there. The Vorith delegate rang again. You speak of defense, but your ships carry weapons that can destroy whole cities. Why build such power if you do not plan to use it? Daniel met the crystal eyes. Because we have seen what happens when you are weak. In our history on Earth, we had times when good people had no weapons. Bad people came and took everything. We promised ourselves never again. He looked around the whole chamber. The Federation is strong. You have rules. You have treaties. You have trust between worlds. That is beautiful. But trust can break. Treaties can be torn. When that day comes, someone must stand ready. A synthex sphere floated forward. Logic says peace is more efficient. War wastes resources. War stops progress. Daniel nodded. You are right. Peace is better. Much better. But peace is not free. Someone must guard it. Someone must be willing to pay the price when others will not. He pointed to the empty hologram space. Let me show you something else. The ceiling lit up again. This time it showed a different scene. A human research station on a frozen moon. No weapons. Only scientists. They were studying an old alien ruin. One day a swarm of small machines came from the dark. They were not alive. They were old war robots left behind by a dead empire. They attacked without reason. The scientists had no army. No ships nearby. They had only their minds. The recording showed them working fast. They used the ruin itself. They turned old power systems back on. They made magnetic walls. They built traps from broken machines. They talked to each other in calm voices while death moved closer. In the end, they won. They shut down the swarm. But they lost 12 people. Daniel spoke softly. These are not fighters. They were teachers, engineers, doctors. Yet when danger came, they found a way. They did not run. They did not cry for help first. They acted. The chamber stayed quiet. A draconian delegate with red scales leaned forward. You make war sound like a teacher, like something good. Daniel shook his head. War is not good. War is a hard, cruel teacher. It gives lessons you never forget. Lessons you wish you never needed. But once you learn them, you carry them forever. He looked at Vereen. That is why we do not fear it. We know it too well. We know its tricks. We know its price. And we know how to win against it. Vereen spoke slowly. You say you will stand for us if the day comes. But what if we ask you to give up your weapons? To join our way completely? Daniel smiled just a little. Not happy. Not sad. Just honest. If you ask us to give up the ability to defend ourselves, we will say no. Not because we want war, but because we have seen what happens when you cannot defend. We will not become victims again. Not for anyone. He looked at every face he could see. But hear this. We will never start a war against you. We will never attack first. We will never take what is yours. We want to be part of this federation. We want to trade. We want to learn. We want to grow together. If peace lasts forever, we will be the happiest of all. But if peace breaks, we will be the first to fight for it. Not for glory. Not for power. For the simple reason that innocent lives matter. And we will not watch them end. The chamber remained silent for a long time. Then, slowly, one delegate started to clap. It was a lyra with bright feathers. Then another. Then more. Not everyone. Some still looked worried. Some looked angry. But many clapped. Vereen raised his hand for silence. We will break for the day. Tomorrow we will continue. Daniel bowed his head just a little. Then he walked out. In the corridors, people watched him go. Some stepped aside with respect. Some stared openly. The word was already spreading fast through the station. The human did not back down. He did not apologize. He did not beg. He simply told the truth. And the truth was more powerful than anyone expected. That night, in his small room, Daniel sat alone. He looked at a picture of his family back on Earth. A wife. 2 children. He touched the screen gently. Tomorrow would be harder. Tomorrow the real questions would come. Tomorrow they would try to test him. He closed his eyes and breathed slowly. He was ready. The galaxy was about to learn even more about what humans really were. The third day in the Galactic Council chamber felt like the air itself was holding its breath. Every seat was filled. No one arrived late. The soft blue light seemed brighter, sharper, as if the room knew something big was coming. Delegates sat very straight, eyes from every species fixed on the center podium. Daniel Reyes walked in quietly. He wore the same dark blue uniform. His face looked tired but calm. He had not slept much. All night long, he had thought about what to say today. He knew this day would decide everything. Vereen, the Ilari leader, rose higher than before. His silver skin reflected the light in tiny flashes. His voice came slow and careful. Ambassador Reyes, you have spoken of your past. You have spoken of your recent battles. Today we will test your words. Not with more stories. With action. He made a small motion with his long hand. The huge ceiling opened like a flower. A massive hologram sphere appeared in the middle of the chamber. It glowed soft white. Inside it, tiny lights moved like stars. This is the simulation dome, Vereen said. It is used only for the most serious matters. Today we will create a test. A possible future. A threat to the Federation. We want to see how humans would respond. Murmurs spread fast. Many delegates leaned forward. Some looked excited. Some looked worried. A delegate from the strong-armored Gorath stood up. His thick voice boomed. We will give you a scenario. A large fleet from unknown space appears at our border. They do not talk. They destroy 3 peaceful stations. They move toward the core worlds. What do humans do? Daniel looked at the hologram sphere. He took one slow breath. Show me the scenario, he said. The sphere lit up bright. Real-looking images appeared inside it. A dark fleet of strange black ships, sharp like knives. They fired green beams. Small Federation stations exploded into fire and silence. Escape pods tried to run. The black ships hunted them down. The image changed. Now it showed the Federation response. Silver ships gathered. They formed perfect lines. They sent messages of peace. The Black Fleet did not answer. It kept coming. Vareen spoke again. This is our way. We try to talk first. Always. Now we ask you, what would Earth do? Daniel stepped closer to the sphere. He studied the images. First, he said, we would not wait for them to reach the core. We would meet them far out, at the edge. He raised his hand. The hologram listened to him. It changed. Now human ships appeared, not in perfect lines, in small groups, fast and scattered. We use speed, Daniel explained. We do not stand still to be hit. We move. We strike. We disappear. The hologram showed human frigates darting between asteroids. They fired missiles then, ran. The Black Fleet tried to chase, but got lost in the rocks. A Kresh delegate clicked his mandibles. This is not honorable. This is hiding. Daniel turned to him. Honor does not stop weapons. Survival does. If we stand in open space, they will destroy us in one volley. So we do not stand open. We use the ground, the dark, the surprise. The hologram kept going. Now it showed ground teams on a nearby moon. Humans in gray suits. They landed quietly. They set up hidden launchers. When the enemy fleet passed close, the launchers fired. Small drones swarmed out. They attached to enemy ships. They exploded inside weak points. The Gorith delegate grunted. Clever, but still not enough. Their fleet is bigger. Daniel nodded. One battle is never enough. We do not win in one fight. We win over time. The image changed again. Now it showed factories on human worlds working day and night. Ships being built fast. Weapons improved every week. Volunteers joining from every colony. We do not have the biggest fleet, Daniel said, but we have the fastest builders. We have people who work without sleep when the danger is real. We turn every factory into a war machine if we must. A Lyra delegate with soft feathers spoke in her gentle voice. But the cost. So many would die. Yes, Daniel said quietly. Many would die. We know that. We hate it. But we also know that if we do nothing, everyone dies. The children, the old, the ones who never held a weapon. We fight so they do not have to. The hologram showed a new part. Human diplomats on a neutral station. They talked to the enemy. But behind the words, they planted listening devices. They learned the enemy plans. They found weak points. We talk too, Daniel said. But we do not only talk. We prepare while we talk. We never trust words alone. Vareen watched closely. And if they refuse to talk? Then we keep fighting, Daniel answered. We bleed them. We slow them. We make every step cost them more than they can pay. Until they stop. Or until they break. The sphere showed the end of the battle. The Black Fleet turned away. Damaged. Confused. The Federation worlds still stood. Silence filled the chamber. A synthex sphere floated forward. Your method is chaotic. Unpredictable. Our models say it has only 43% chance of success. Daniel smiled just a little. Your models do not know humans. We're the 43% that wins when everything says we should lose. He looked around. In our history, we lost many times. We were outnumbered, outgunned, outplanned. Yet we won wars we should have lost. Because we never gave up. Because we changed. Because we surprised even ourselves. The Vorith crystal delegate rang softly. You speak of sacrifice. But what if the sacrifice is too great? What if your people break? Daniel became very still. We have broken before. Many times. Each time we came back stronger. We know how to fall. We also know how to stand up again. He pointed to the hologram. This test you made is not new to us. We have faced worse. Fleets bigger than this. Enemies who wanted to erase us completely. We are still here. A young delegate from a new species spoke up. His voice shook a little. But why? Why not run? Why not hide? Daniel looked at him kindly. Because running only works until there is nowhere left to run. Hiding only works until they find you. And they always find you. So we stand. We fight. We protect what is ours. And we protect what is yours too, if you let us. Vareen lowered himself slowly. We have seen enough of the simulation. But we have one more question. He paused. Suppose we join together. Suppose Earth becomes part of the Federation. Will you give up your ways? Will you follow our rules of no weapons? No atomies? Total peace? Every eye turned to Daniel. He did not look away. We will follow your rules of peace, he said. Every day, every year, as long as peace holds. But we will never give up the knowledge. We will never forget how to defend. We will keep our ships ready. We will keep our people trained, not to attack, but to answer if the dark comes again. He stepped forward one step, because we have learned something you have not yet learned. Peace is precious, but peace without strength is an invitation. An invitation to those who want power, to those who want slaves, to those who want everything. We do not want to be the ones who invite destruction. We want to be the ones who stop it. The chamber stayed quiet for a very long time. Then, slowly the clapping started. First one, then 10, then many. Not all, but many. Some delegates still looked doubtful. Some looked angry. But the sound grew. Vareen waited until it stopped. We will vote tomorrow, he said. The last day. Daniel bowed his head. Thank you for listening. He walked out. In the corridors, people moved aside for him. Some nodded with respect. Some whispered his name. That night the station buzzed with talk. Everyone knew the vote would be close. Everyone knew the human had changed something. Daniel sat in his room. He looked out at the stars. He thought of Earth, of his family, of all the people who trusted him to speak for them. Tomorrow everything would be decided. Tomorrow the galaxy would choose. And whatever they chose, humans would be ready. The fourth day arrived like a storm that had been building for years. The council chamber was packed tighter than ever. Extra seats had been brought in. Delegates stood in the aisles. The air felt thick with waiting. Everyone knew this was the end. The vote would happen today. The fate of humanity in the Federation would be decided. Daniel Reyes entered last. He walked slowly. His steps were steady. His face showed nothing. No ismite, no witty, just the quiet strength that had carried him through the long days. He took his place in the center. The hologram sphere still hung above him like a silent judge. Vareen rose to his full height. His silver skin looked almost white in the bright light. His voice rang clear across the chamber. Delegates of the Galactic Federation, we have heard the human ambassador. We have seen his words in action through simulation. We have asked hard questions. Now we must decide. Does Earth join us as a full member, or do we close our doors? Aloha moved through the seats. Some delegates looked excited. Some looked afraid. All looked ready. Vareen continued. Before the vote, we will allow one final statement from Ambassador Reyes. Then we begin. All eyes turned to Daniel. He stepped forward. He looked around the huge room. He saw the faces he had come to know. The Kresh with their hard shells. The Lyra with their soft feathers. The Synthex spheres that floated without emotion. The tall Gorath. The ringing Vorath. The gentle Merowin. All of them watching. He spoke in a voice that was calm and strong. I did not come here to beg. I did not come to apologize for who we are. I came to offer what we have. The good, the bad, the hard lessons we learned the painful way. He paused. You have lived in peace for a long time. That peace is real. It is beautiful. It is something we want too. We want our children to grow up without fear. We want our worlds to stay green and blue and safe. We want to trade, to learn, to build together. But we know something you have forgotten. Peace is not the natural state of the universe. It is something you must protect. Every day, every hour, with open eyes, with ready hands, with hearts that do not break easily. He looked straight at Vareen. You asked if we fear war. I told you no. We respect it. We study it. We prepare for it. Not because we want it, but because we know it can come anyway. He raised his hand. The hologram sphere came alive one last time. This time it did not show battles or simulations. It showed something different. It showed Earth as it was now. Cities shining under the sun. Children playing in parks. Ships lifting off to the stars. Families eating together. Scientists working in quiet labs. Farmers planting fields on new worlds. Then, it showed people helping each other. After a storm on a colony. After a mining accident. After a sickness that spread fast, humans did not wait for orders. They moved. They built. They healed. They shared. Daniel spoke softly. This is who we are when there is no war. We create. We care. We build. We laugh. We love. The image changed again. Now it showed humans standing together with other species. On mixed colonies. On joint ships. On shared stations. Humans and aliens working side by side. Laughing together. Learning from each other. We have already begun to live this way, Daniel said. We do not wait for permission to be kind. We do not wait for rules to help. We do it because it is right. He let the images fade. But we will never pretend the dark side does not exist. We will never forget the lessons of blood and fire. We will keep our strength. We will keep our knowledge. We will keep our will to stand. Not against you. For you. If the day comes when something worse than pirates arrives, when a true enemy wants to take everything, when your beautiful peace is threatened, we will be there. We will fight beside you. We will bleed with you. We will die with you if that is what it takes. Because we believe the same thing you do. Life matters. Freedom matters. Hope matters. He looked around one more time. You can vote yes. You can let us in. You can share your peace with us. And we will share our strength with you. Or you can vote no. You can keep your perfect order. You can stay safe behind your rules. And we will go home. We will keep watching the stars from far away. We will keep our own peace as best we can. But know this. If the dark ever comes for you, we will still be here. We will still answer. Because that is what humans do. The chamber stayed completely silent. No one moved. No one breathed loud. Then Vereen spoke. We will now vote. Lights appeared on every delegate's seat. Green for yes. Red for no. Yellow for wait. One by one the lights came on. First the Lyra. All green. Then the Merowan. Green. The Synthex. After a long pause. Green. The Vorth. Green. The Kresh. Some red. But most green. The Gorth. All green. Seat by seat. World by world. The green lights grew. Some red stayed. A few yellow. But the green wave kept spreading. Finally, only a handful remained undecided. Then, even those turned green. The chamber exploded in sound. Not clapping. Not cheering. A deep rolling sound like thunder made of voices. Relief. Wonder. Acceptance. Vereen raised both hands. The vote is complete. Earth is accepted as a full member of the Galactic Federation. The sound grew louder. Daniel stood still. He did not smile big. He did not raise his arms. He just bowed his head a little. Thank you, he said quietly. But the sound did not stop. Delegates came down from their seats. Some walked. Some floated. Some crawled. They came to him. They touched his shoulder. They spoke soft words. They looked at him with new eyes. A Lyra delegate with bright feathers came close. You scared us, she said. But you also gave us hope. A Kresh clicked softly. We did not expect truth like that. A Synthex sphere hovered near. Your logic is different. But it works. Daniel looked at them all. We are not perfect. We will make mistakes. We will argue. We will learn. But we will do it together. Vereen floated down to stand beside him. Welcome, Ambassador Reyes. Welcome home. The chamber kept ringing with voices. Outside the station, the stars looked the same. But everything had changed. News spread fast. Across worlds. Across ships. Across the dark between stars. Humans had joined. Not as weak newcomers. Not as dangerous strangers. As equals. As guardians. As friends who would stand when others fell. Weeks later, Daniel returned to Earth. He stepped off his ship onto green grass. His wife ran to him. His children jumped into his arms. They cried. They laughed. They held him tight. That night, he sat outside with his family. They looked up at the stars. One child asked, "Did you win, Papa?" Daniel smiled. "We did not win or lose. We joined." Another child asked, "Will there be war?" Daniel looked at the sky. "Maybe someday, but not today. Today there is peace. And if tomorrow brings something hard, we will be ready. Because that is what humans do." The galaxy turned on. New ships flew together. Human and alien crews. Mixed voices on the bridges. Mixed laughter in the halls. Stories spread of a human who spoke the truth. of the answer that left the galaxy speechless, of the day fear turned into respect, of the day strength joined peace. And somewhere in the quiet dark, a small pirate ship watched from far away. The captain looked at the new Federation markings on the human ships. He shook his head. "They are not afraid," he said. His first officer nodded. "No, they are not." The captain turned the ship away. Better to find easier prey. The stars stayed silent. But now they watched with new interest. Because humans had arrived. And the galaxy would never be the same. The days after the vote felt like the galaxy took a long, slow breath. Everything looked the same on the outside. Ships still moved between stars. Stations still hummed with life. But something had changed deep inside. Humans were no longer outsiders. They were part of the whole. Daniel Reyes stayed on the Federation station for 2 more weeks. He met with leaders from every major world. They talked in small rooms. They shared meals. They asked questions late into the night. Not about war this time. About simple things. How humans raised children. What foods they liked. What songs they sang when they were happy. One evening, a young Lyra delegate with pale blue feathers sat with him. Her name was Lyran. She spoke softly. "We always thought strength meant being loud. Being big. Being first to fight. You showed us something different. Strength can be quiet. It can wait. It can choose when to speak." Daniel smiled a small smile. "We learned that the hard way. Sometimes the strongest thing is to stay calm when everything inside you wants to shout." Lyran tilted her head. "Will your people change us?" Daniel thought for a moment. "We hope to add to what you already have. Not replace it. Your peace is real. We want to keep it. We just want to make sure it lasts." The next morning, Daniel received a message. It came from Earth. The leaders wanted him home. But first there was one more thing he had to do. A joint ceremony had been planned. Not big, not loud, just a simple gathering in the main hall. All delegates were invited. It was called the Hand of Welcome. When the day came, the hall was full. Soft lights glowed in warm colors. No holograms this time. No tests. Just people. Vareen stood at the front. He looked smaller than usual. Not weak. Just calm. "We come together today," he said, "not to sign papers. Not to make rules. We come to say welcome. Truly welcome." He turned to Daniel. "Ambassador Reyes, step forward." Daniel walked to the center. He stood straight. Vareen raised his long silver hand. Daniel raised his own hand. They touched palms. Not hard, just gentle. The whole room watched. Then, one by one, delegates came forward. Some touched hands. Some touched shoulders. Some simply bowed. A Kresh clicked his mandibles in respect. A synthetic sphere sent a small pulse of light. A Gorith rumbled a low sound that meant honor. Went into the hall filled with quiet talk. People smiled. Some laughed. Some wiped tears. Daniel looked around. He felt something warm in his chest. Not pride. Not victory. Just belonging. That night, he boarded the ship home. As it pulled away from the station, he stood at the window. The stars looked brighter. Closer. Like old friends. The journey back took many days. Daniel spent the time writing. Not reports. Letters. To his wife. To his children. To the people who had waited on Earth. When the ship entered Earth space, the pilot spoke over the speaker. "Welcome home, Ambassador." Daniel felt the ship slow. He saw the blue marble below. Clouds. Oceans. Land. Home. The landing was smooth. When the door opened, a crowd waited. Not just officials. Families. Children. Old people. They cheered. They waved flags. They held signs that said, "Thank you." His wife ran first. She hugged him so tight he could not breathe. His children jumped on him. They laughed and cried at the same time. Later that evening, they sat in their small house. Windows open. Warm air coming in. Stars above. His oldest child asked, "Papa, did they like us?" Daniel looked at the sky. They did not like us at first. They were afraid. But in the end, they saw us. Really saw us. His wife took his hand. And now we are part of something bigger. We get to help. We get to learn. We get to live. Weeks turned into months. Humans began to arrive in the Federation in small groups. Engineers, teachers, doctors, artists. They went to other worlds. They worked beside aliens. They shared ideas. They listened. They laughed. On one mixed colony, a human named Maria taught children how to plant earth seeds. A Vorith child asked why humans fought so much in the past. Maria smiled. Because we are stubborn. We do not give up easy. Sometimes that makes us fight, but it also makes us keep going when others stop. The child thought, so fighting can be good? Maria shook her head. No, fighting is never good. But the will to stand up is good. The will to protect is good. The will to try again is very good. Stories like that spread. Slowly, quietly. Humans became known not as warriors, not as strangers, as people who stayed when things got hard. Then, one day, a real test came. Far at the edge of Federation space, a new threat appeared. Not pirates, not raiders. Something older, something big. Ships from a forgotten empire. They woke from long sleep. They started to move. Slow, steady, toward the core. The council called an emergency meeting. Vereen spoke first. We have not faced this in centuries. Our defenses are strong, but we do not know their full power. Eyes turned to the human seats. 2 human ambassadors sat there now. One was Daniel. The other was a younger woman named Aisha Khan. Aisha stood up. We have studied the old records. We know this enemy. They are slow. They are strong, but they think in straight lines. They do not change fast. She looked at Vereen. Let us help plan the defense. The council agreed. Days of work followed. Humans brought new ideas. Not big weapons. Smart ones. Hidden sensors. Fussed scouts. Traps that used gravity. Plans that changed every hour. When the enemy fleet arrived, the battle was not one big clash. It was many small fights. Fussed strikes. Retreats. New attacks. The enemy could not keep up. In the end, the old Empire ships turned back. Damaged. Confused. They went back to sleep. The council met again. Vereen spoke. We won because we stood together. But we won because of human thinking. Aisha smiled. No, we won because we stood together. Humans just added a few tricks. The delegates laughed. The sound was warm. Years passed. Daniel grew older. His hair turned white. His steps became slower. But his eyes stayed sharp. One day, he stood on a hill on Earth. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and pink. His granddaughter sat beside him. She was 10. Curious. Brave. Grandpa, she asked, are we still the same? Daniel looked at the stars. We are the same. And we are different. We still remember the old lessons. We still keep our strength. But now we share it. We do not carry it alone. The girl thought. So the galaxy is safer? Daniel nodded. Safer. Stronger. And maybe a little kinder. She smiled. Because of you. Daniel shook his head. Not because of me. Because of all of us. Because we chose to speak truth. Because we chose to stand. Because we chose to join. The stars came out one by one. Somewhere far away, a new ship flew. Mixed crew. Human voices mixed with alien songs. The galaxy turned. Quiet. Steady. Alive. And humans were part of it. Not as conquerors. Not as followers. As friends. As equals. As the ones who would always answer when the dark came. And that was enough.